Hello, welcome back to 1874. It's time for a match preview show as Aston Villa take on Wolves tomorrow, Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff at Villa Park, Midlands derby. Everyone very excited, I'm sure. You'll see I'm joined by Aston Villa legend, hero, icon, Mr. Ian Taylor to preview the game. And Tails, you're already getting a lot of love in the chat. You'll see there, Agent Cooper. I can't praise Ian any more than to say, despite the likes of Yuri, Anana and Dougie gracing our central midfield in recent years, Mr. Ian Taylor is and will always be a lock in my all-time Villa 11. It's very nice for you to hear, isn't it?
Oh, thank you, Agent Cooper. Checks in the post, son.
Yeah, lovely. And I'm sure you're in most people's Villa, all-time Villa 11. You're certainly in mine. You've been busy boy this week. Everyone would have seen you on social media, dancing on tables, singing on tables, getting very excited at Villa being in the Champions
League. It was on
League.
chairs, Dan. It was on chairs.
On chairs,
everyone thinks I was dancing on the tables, but I was standing on a chair.
You're on chairs, so that's much more professional. My apologies.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot different than on the table, mate.
But how was it? I mean, you're in severe recovery mode, aren't you, at the moment?
I'm fine. Dan, okay? I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
But you enjoyed yourself.
You know, it's one of those where I just travel with my mates and I get egged on to do stuff and to start the singing off and all that kind of thing. And I just don't let people down. That's all.
No, you are a people pleaser, obviously pleasing me as well, coming on today. But what was that experience like following Villa in the Champions League? Because it's been a long time since Villa were in the elite competition. We've all waited a long time for it. How was it for you just watching Villa play in the Champions League when that music played, the anthem at the ground?
Well, that's the thing I was just about to say. Just hearing the music, you know, the whole build-up. I did Villa TV for the game with Mark Regan, and you know, his commentary was just sit back, don't say anything, and just listen to the Champions League music. And it was brilliant. And it just almost brought a tear to your eye because it's just what we've been wanting for so long. And I remember those days in the Championship, and they're just the far and distant memory now, aren't they? And you know, the change in the club in 5 years has been unbelievable. And me, like everybody else, just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously played in Europe quite a lot for Villa. Villa qualified for Europe a lot when you were playing. You obviously we weren't ever good enough to get to the Champions League. We had some brilliant teams and some brilliant seasons when you played, but it is something different. It hits differently watching Villa play at the pinnacle of European football, and they did a professional job as well. It was a good first game, I think, for the club.
Yeah, fantastic. When you see the results of some of the other teams, I think it was a great night for us. But, you know, playing on a plastic pitch as well, having to adapt to that. I was pleased that Unai Emery went out with what we all call his strongest 11. I don't see the game as 11 players anymore. I just see it as a squad game now, and there isn't a strongest 11 because our squad depth now is fantastic. And I think whatever team he puts out there now is a team that can win games. So I'd never see there's a strongest 11. So it was a professional job. It could have been more, as we've seen, but I'd have taken 3-0 before the start. I actually predicted 3-0 as well. So
did you?
Yeah. So that was good as well.
Yeah, and it's goals coming from kind of all areas at the moment as well, aren't they? Like you say, it's a squad game now. It's not starters and substitutes. It's starters and finishers. And Villa have got so many different weapons this season compared to last. The squad, although maybe we would have liked one more at the back, it is a really, really strong squad. And I think when Emery makes changes this season, there's never going to be a dip in quality. I think whoever's coming in is just as strong as the person that's coming out, and that's going to augur well for the season.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean by what I said. And like exactly what you've said, Dan. It's about the team that finishes the game rather than the team that starts. Like I said, a lot of people get hung up on what's the starting lineup and this, that, and the other. But it's about the team that finishes it and finishes the game off for us. And we've got that many players now coming back from injury as well that are like new signings. Tyrone Mings and Kamara, they are like new signings because we've not seen them for such a long time. So he's got those to back the squad up as well. So no, it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good start as well in the Premier League. Back to the bread and butter this weekend of the Premier League. 3 wins from 4, and played well in the game that they lost as well against an elite team in Arsenal. What have you made of Villa's start so far this season?
I don't think you could have asked for much more, really. Like you say, we played Arsenal. They're the only team that's beaten us, and I think we were lucky in that game. I think we had a rusty striker playing in that game who on another day would have scored 2 goals, and it would be a totally different game for Ollie Watkins. So I just think we were unlucky, and I think there's a lot more to come from this squad. There's players in the squad that are growing. Yuri Tillemans is a player that I thought was fantastic the other night. Showed some real quality in midfield. Now he's a lot fitter than he was when he first came. Because I was one of the ones, massive question marks when he first came, but I just think he wasn't fit. So, but yeah, I think Annan is a fantastic addition to the squad as well. He's showing more quality than I thought he had. So, I think Everton was a team that restricted him and he couldn't show his real quality. But I think coming to us, we'll be able to see how good a player he is.
Yeah, not had a big midfielder in there like a goal scoring midfielder like an Arna since you. I don't think they're playing in there.
Well, the funny thing is, I built him up against Everton, and I did say that he reminds me of myself, and then he gets dragged at half time and has a nightmare. So no, I was pleased for him the other night actually that he got a great goal and in a great performance, and actually got to meet him before the Everton game as well, and he is a unit, by the way.
Yeah, massive.
But he seems really respectful, and and he's a proper character as well. And it's good to see a proper character come to the club as well, because it excites the fans and it gets the fans going, and I love that.
Yeah, he was our big signing, really, for £50 million. He certainly hit the ground running at Villa Park. Obviously, we played in Europe on Tuesday. It's early on in the season, but one of the question marks over the squad was the Thursday to Sunday last season. How would we cope with it? And we coped with it really well, probably up until March, and then the injury started to take the toll. Players ran out of steam, and it felt like we limped towards the finish line towards the end of last season. Obviously, it is early in the season now, but the fact that we played on a Tuesday and then it's on a Saturday, and there's that little bit of a gap rather than Thursday, Sunday, does that mean it will just affect us less when it's in that way?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of that's a myth, to be honest. I think it's more psychological than anything.
Okay.
When people keep banging on about it, it just gets in your head, doesn't it? So I don't know. When I was playing, it didn't really. I think the actual kick-off times make the difference for me. Sometimes there's early kickoffs on a Saturday, or early kickoffs on a Sunday. I think they affect players more than anything.
Okay.
So I don't think it's the Thursday Sunday thing. I think it's the kickoff times.
Do you think he'll make any changes for this one? Is there anyone you're expecting to see come into the 11, or do you think he'll keep it the same as he did the other night?
I think he's going to keep it the same. I think he might keep it the same. I don't know. The only reason I think he'd change things is because of the likes of JJ, who have suffered injuries in the past, might want to rest him and just treat him with kid gloves. So those players that have had injury problems, I think, might be the ones who will be rested. But he's already stated today that he's thinking about playing Watkins with Duran. So I don't know. I think he likes to play with a number 10, and I think Rodgers has been excellent this season, and it'd be a shame if he missed out. So it's a real conundrum for the manager, because we've had some really good performances this season, and it'd be harsh on people if they get left out. But that people are going to come on if they're sub. So because he's not frightened of making changes. So that he's going to make use of the full squad.
I guess as well, they've got the cup game next week to to give people minutes. So against Wickham, you'd expect people who haven't really started many games this season will come in and play that game midweek. With the striker situation, obviously we all know how good Ollie Watkins is, but there is a case to keep John Duran on the bench just because he's doing so well coming off the bench. You played with a striker who was very good at coming off the bench in Julian Joachim. I think he's Villa's record goal scorer, from the bench in the Premier League. Can John Duran keep doing what he's done so far this season?
I think that the trouble you have with especially younger players like Duran, they want to play. They want to play. And I think that's one of the reasons why he maybe wanted to go in the summer, is that he wanted to have a regular starting spot. And it does get frustrating for players. And I don't have anything against that, players wanting to play and wanting to start games. So it's because it's difficult these days when getting your head around the fact that you're a substitute, but knowing that you're going to come on, because any professional footballer worth any salt wants to start games. But as I've said in the past, it's difficult. Not everybody can start, can they? No. So for the manager, it's one of those. Does he start him? He might not be as good when he starts games. So. But he's been going with Ollie Watkins, and with the season that Ollie Watkins had last year, you can't doubt him, really, can you? So it's a difficult one, but I'm glad I'm not the manager.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing with Watkins as well is that we know that once he scores kind of in one Premier League game, he tends to go on a little bit of run and score goals in bursts. But it took him a while to get going last season, and now he's off the mark. If he plays and if he starts, he's probably going to score in the game tomorrow.
Well, this is it, and like you say, he does score in bursts, and yeah, it's taken him. He's had a bit of a Euro hangover, which you understand because he didn't have that much break, and we've had to sort of ease him in gently. But I think Ollie Watkins is a fantastic player, and I wouldn't want to leave him out. But we've got two great strikers. If you look up and down the country in the Premier League, there's not many teams who are blessed with two great strikers like we are. So it's a good headache to have done.
Yeah, I was on TalkSport yesterday, and they were saying that Villa have actually arguably got the best strikers department in the Premier League now, just in terms of having the two options. Obviously, Man City have got Haaland, but then they haven't got anyone else. For Villa to have these two options, I think, like we were saying now, that is the crucial thing. The quality of the squad, they can take people out and it not really affect them too much. Players coming back now, like the midfield area is brilliant at the moment, and we've still got Kamara to come back. Emery's been speaking about Kamara and Mings coming back today, but the depth of the squad is like nothing I've ever seen. And as the schedule gets busier, that'll be really, really crucial. But tomorrow, obviously, a derby game. I think I'm right in thinking you played against Wolves once for Villa. Is that right? In the cup?
Yeah, I think it was in the cup. Yeah,
the year we won it. So you didn't have much experience of playing against Wolves as a player. But is this one that, do you look at it as being a derby game? Like, obviously, it's not as big as Blues, but it's still one. Yeah, there's been a bit more of a rivalry over recent years, hasn't there?
Yeah, I think more from their side than our side. I think they hate us. They hate us. Yeah, they all hate us more than we hate them.
Yeah,
but yeah, you can see it as a derby. I just hope we do treat it as a derby game. We've suffered in the past with some of our teams not realising how much hate there is between some of these teams. So let's hope that we can get the result tomorrow. It's always difficult off the back of a European game to get yourself up for the Premier League again after travelling and everything. But I'm sure our squad will deal with it.
Yeah, it's a huge game. We've actually had some difficult days against Wolves in recent history. There was a phase where it felt like they were a little bit of a bogey team. Obviously, we were unbeaten against them last season, drawing at their place and beating them at Villa Park when they had a lot of injuries, I think, if my memory serves me correctly. But they haven't had a brilliant start to the season. I think Gary O'Neill's done a good job there, but they've suffered with turnover of players this summer, losing some big players over the last couple of years, and he's kind of having to build from within Gary O'Neill. I think Andre, the lad they've brought in from Brazil, he's going to be a very, very good player for them. He's really highly rated. He was very highly rated in Brazil and has been linked with loads of Premier League teams. But they've had a difficult start, haven't they? Where do you think they're at, Wolves?
Oh, they are rebuilding. I think they're in a difficult spot at the moment, to be fair, because the third from bottom. Not
Yeah.
a great start to the season. They put it this way, they wouldn't want to be playing us right now.
No.
So I think we've got that going for us as well. There's a lot of teams in the division who wouldn't fancy playing us right now. So I think we've earned that respect over the last couple of years, where everybody knows that they're going to be in for a difficult match coming to Villa Park. So and that's what Unai Emery's wanted to do from day one, is make Villa Park a fortress, and we've managed to do that the last couple of years or year or so. So no, it's great for the Villa fans at Villa Park to come to Villa Park knowing that most days we're going to win.
Yeah. One criticism maybe of Villa in the Premier League so far is defensively. We don't look like we're going to keep many clean sheets again in the Premier League this season. But obviously we're full of
we were
goals.
brilliant last season at it. So
yeah, but we look at Everton at times carved us open a little bit too easily on the break. Obviously their first goal came from a break. Calvert-Lewin had a couple of other chances on the break as well. I guess that's how Wolves will look to play in transition. They've got Cunha in their attack, who I think is a really good player. He's very good in transition. They've lost Neto, who was crucial in that system. But you would think that's how Wolves will look to play against us, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but Unai Emery, he'll have been working on being a bit more solid during the week. It's difficult when you've got these European games like we've been talking about, to get stuff done on the training pitch. So because you won't be doing much training, but I'm sure that's something they'll be looking at, is being defensively more solid. We can score goals, but like you say, we've been letting a few in. But I'm sure that there's many a Villa fan out there who doesn't mind seeing a lot of goals as long as we score more than the opposition.
Emi Martinez will want a clean sheet, won't he? He'll be looking to break records all over the place, and not keeping a clean sheet probably doesn't sit well with him. And so, talking of Emi Martinez, obviously there's a couple of people returning to Villa Park tomorrow. Neil Cutler, the goalkeeping coach, and Sam Johnston in goal as well. What did you make of Wolves signing Sam Johnston and kind of discarding Jose Sarr?
Yeah, it was a surprising one for me. I thought Sarr wasn't a bad keeper. Not that I concentrate on Wolves that much.
No,
but,
you're not a big watcher of Wolves,
are
you?
Yeah, I think Sam Johnston, we know, is a solid keeper. Most of his time has been spent as a backup, but he's a solid keeper. But I wouldn't have thought that he'd be the type to take Sarr's place. But Gary O'Neill seems to trust Johnston, and hopefully we can put a few past him.
Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? To remember that. Do you remember that game in the Championship when we ran riot under Steve Bruce? I think we beat them 4-1 that day when they went. Ultimately they went up and we didn't. So I'm sure they're not too upset about it. But that was a good day. I remember at Villa Park, full of goals. You think obviously Villa will be the favourites, obviously, but does it, when it's a derby game, does it sometimes become a bit of a leveller?
Oh yeah, of course it does. I think sometimes it's all about who wants it more. Sometimes they're not the prettiest to games, but I don't know. I think that's been lost over the years regarding derby games. Everybody tends to still want to play the way they want to play. In the good old days, it'd be blood and thunder, and it was whoever scrapped and fought the most that would win the game. But I think those days are gone now, where tackles will be flying in, but we'll see tomorrow. I know there's regarding refereeing, they're letting a bit more go now, so you never know, those tackles might be coming back tomorrow.
Yeah, just wanted to ask you about Lamar Burgard. Obviously, he was playing in the EFL last season, probably expected to go on loan again this season, but Villa couldn't quite do what they wanted to do in the transfer market. Have had injuries at right back, and he's ended up playing out of position at right back. What have you made of him? Because it must be difficult coming in cold and trying to kind of learn a new position on the job in the Premier League and the Champions League as well.
Well, that's the thing. He's not a regular right back, for one. Then he's making his debut in the Premier League, and then he's making his debut in the Champions League. It's been a bit of a roller coaster for the lad, and it can't be easy for any young player to deal with all that at one time. So I'm not sure why he went off the other night either. I've not heard anything. But fair play to him. You know, having all that on your shoulders at such a young age, I think he's dealt with it quite well. Maybe his quality was lacking a little bit at times, but one thing with Unai Emery, he's not afraid of putting anybody in the starting lineup or putting anybody on the pitch because he trusts everybody. So, and he'll put them out there. So, no, I think sometimes if you're a young player in this Villa squad, you've got the manager's got every confidence in you.
Yeah, I've been saying that we saw it a little bit with Morgan Rogers last season, where he came in and he probably had to play more than they expected when he first came in, because the club obviously had so many injuries, and there were certain things off the ball that I think he struggled with when he first came into the team. But Emery kept picking him and he kept him out there, and he almost kind of played through that pain and came out the other side of it, and then suddenly it just clicked and switched, and he was ready to go and ended the season really, really well. Do you think that's a little bit what he's doing with Bogard? He's kind of leaving him out there. He's making mistakes. He's learning all the time, but short term it might be a painful process for him, but long term the benefits will be there at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think Unai Emery, he likes, you know, 2 or 3 options in every position, which I do think we've got now in the squad. I think he was maybe looking for that extra body at right back instead of having to put Konza at right back all the time. I think, you know, like myself, I think he'd rather leave Konza in the middle and play somebody else at right back. You know, Nedeljkovic.
Is that how you say it? I've been saying Nedeljkovic.
Nedeljkovic or Nedeljkovic.
I quite like the way you just said it. I've not heard anyone say it like that.
Well, everybody knows who we mean, don't they, Dan?
Yeah, for sure.
So, but you know, he's only 18, and I think he's equipped himself really, really well at the times I've seen him. But you're talking 2 young players at backup after Matty Cash, so it's going to be difficult for them to nail down a place in the side. But they've done okay when they've been in. So I think, yeah, like you said, I think sometimes you have to play these lads and see how they get on and go through that pain sometimes just to get them the experience that they need.
Yeah, what we do on this show, Taz, I'm sure you tune in every single week. I know you're a good man, so
yeah, of course.
So I know you've watched every show on this channel this season. We come up, we basically both, whoever's on, we pick like a take going into the game. So make a prediction, and then we look back the week after, and it will either be a hot take or an ice cold take. There's not been a hot take really yet. I think I predicted Onana to score against Leicester so far. I think that was the only hot take. The rest have ended up being ice cold. So for the last 2 games, I've gone with, I think Villa will get a penalty, and we'll find out who Villa's penalty taker is. It hasn't happened.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Yeah, so ice cold take from me. What's your prediction for this game, and we'll look back on it next week?
My prediction will be Morgan Rogers to get off the mark.
Okay. I like it. I mean, I was thinking of going for myself, which is a little bit annoying. John Steele mentioned it in the chat there that he'll break his duck, a brace for him, and a brace for Watkins. Okay, your take is that Morgan Rogers will break his duck. I'm going to go with clean sheet. Come on, time for a clean sheet. Villa are going to keep their first Premier League clean sheet.
It's not a bad show. Not a bad show.
I'll go for. There's a lot of 3-1s being predicted in the chat, but you think there'd be a few goals in this game, wouldn't you?
Yeah, from our point of view, I think I can see us running out winners. Me personally, like you say, clean sheet, I'd be looking for a 2-0.
2-0. Okay, another sneaky feeling I've got, there's the lad playing centre back for Wolves at the moment, Mosquera. Looks like he wants to get sent off every game. So as it's a local derby, I might throw in a Mosquera red card into the mix as well, and see if that happens tomorrow. So Tails live from St George's Park. I'll let you go. I'll let you get back to your coffee or whatever it is you're doing.
I'm working, Dan. I'm working.
Always grafting. Lots going on, Tails. Not just
I know it's Friday.
Yeah,
I know it's 4:30 on a Friday, but I'm working, mate.
You are always grafting. You've got a lot going on, haven't you? A lot of sidelines, a lot of businesses going on. So thank you very much for coming on the preview show today, Tails. I'm sure everyone, well, I know that everyone has loved seeing you because they've been saying so in the chat. So thanks.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll have you on again soon.
Yeah, one last thing I want to say. I want to say thanks to all the travelling support
Yeah,
in Switzerland, and because these people, mate, they spend hard-earned money to travel and watch our team, and the love that I got was unbelievable, and enjoyed every minute of it. It was
yes.
brilliant.
I think you deserve some credit as well for your words about Gary Shaw. You were obviously you got
Oh,
top
thanks, mate.
words. So, do you want just to
Yeah,
speak about Gary quickly? Because I've spoken about him.
yeah,
I've met him a couple of times. I never saw him play, obviously, but he was one of your heroes growing
yeah,
up. Just how much of a loss is that to the football club, Tales?
yeah. Like many people, I had my heroes growing up, and the '82 championship winning side and European Cup winning side was my team as I was growing up, and Gary Shaw was always one of those players that was a striker and you looked up to. I mean, Gordon Cowans was my idol, but Gary Shaw was that striker that everybody wanted to score, and he's just an absolute icon. He's a Villa icon, and it's just such a shame that one of our heroes has gone the way he's gone, and no, just my deepest condolences go out to his family and friends, and what a player, and I hope he
Yeah, it was
gets
not.
the send off that he deserves.
Yeah, they've surely got to do something around the Bayern Munich game. That would be like so apt
Well,
to do it. There
yeah,
couldn't
that's
be a
what I
better
said.
fixture, could it?
No, I know,
No,
but
I'm sure the club will.
we'll
I'm
see.
sure that they'll do something around the game. I'm sure there'll obviously be an applause or a silence before the game tomorrow as well. So
Yeah,
get your seats before kickoff and pay your respects to Gary Shaw. Right then, Towers, thanks ever so much, and thanks to Luke Roper for sponsoring the show as well. If you use the code TVV20, you'll get 20% off everything Luke have to offer. Towers, of course, repping Luke today
I'll have
as
to
well.
write that down.
Get the code down. I'm usually no way you're paying for Luke Roper clothes. I'm not stupid.
Hold on.
So TVV20, Towsy, write it down as we speak, and you'll get 20% off everything that Luke have to offer. For those going tomorrow, I will see you there. And as always, up the Villa.
Up the Villa.